What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Four Dads podcast. How's everything going, John? How you been?
I've been better. Tough week.
I feel
Ant
that.
infestation. Garage doorknob popped off, and it was impossible to put on. Just a lot going on. Had to show up on campus for work, which I'm not supposed to normally. Just a lot of kinks going on, and it's so annoying. Can't wait for the weekend.
No, I feel you there. I've had a lot of stuff to do too, especially preparing for baby number 2. So my office is like the cleanest I think it's ever been in probably the last 6 months. So gave it a whole detail of everything. But dude, what a U.S. Open, huh?
Dude, that was epic. I enjoyed it thoroughly, mainly because Bryson DeChambeau won. I've been pulling him for him the whole time.
Yeah.
And I mean, someone brought up a really good point that I saw on Twitter, and it was like, why do you think Bryson DeChambeau has been doing good in the majors, but he has not been playing too well in any of the LIV golf tournaments? Like, not like terrible, but he hasn't been like top 1, top 2, like he's been in the Masters. I think it was like tied 6th. He was second in the PGA Championship and obviously won the the U.S. Open. And someone brought the attention was he tinkers around and messes with things, trying new things that work on the LIV tour. And then when the majors come around, he's kind of more focused and more, not more serious, but he's not really like, going to take more of a risky shot or something that he might not play around with on a LIV tournament. I was like, that actually kind of makes some logical sense, especially since all their stuff is pretty much guaranteed, right? So he's not.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, why not use LIV to kind of tinker and get ready for the big tournaments, being that he has exemptions to play in them?
Mm-hmm. Especially now with the U.S. Open, winning that too, that's going to add another few more years to it as well, which is huge for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. He hasn't. I think the reason why he hadn't been doing too well the last few LIV Tour events was the tinkering. I think he was just preparing for the U.S. Open, honestly, because it was like the last 3 weeks, maybe the last month or so, that he really it didn't seem like he was playing kind of Bryson's normal golf, and I think it was just because he was using that time just to prepare for the U.S. Open. But dude, that shot on 18 where he had the tree root, and then the
one, not the bunker. Okay,
yeah. No. Well, the bunker.
The waist, the waist bunker.
When he hit that, or when he hit the shot from next to the root, I was sitting at the golf club when he hit it, and I was just like, that is a great, why did he go with so much club? Why did he hit it all the way to the bunker?
That's like me going out on the side and trying to I'm just going to hit it up there, but not ever hitting any punch shots and not having any idea how far my shots go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no. Now I gave myself, and I was thinking about that shot. This is one of the hardest. This is probably the hardest shot in golf besides a tee shot, where you really a 50 yard, bunker shot is so hard. It's so hard because you either play the spin, all bunkers are different, but it's just as soon as he hit it in that bunker, I was like, oh no, dude. I felt that he could easily get bogey, no problem, but he would have to go in a playoff with Rory. But I did not expect that shot. I was so stoked when he hit that. I could not believe it. Ugh.
Yeah, no, it was a great finish, and the thing that I loved most was that he beat Rory, the guy who has kind of been at the forefront of all the shit talking, behind LIV. He has the most hatred towards LIV. Thinks that the guys who left are not at the same level as he is, and just to see let me finish my point. So just to see the way he left, you can see the difference in class, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Compared to how Bryson left on the PGA Championship and talked to Xander right after that. Yeah.
Went over there and shook his hand, said, hey, great playing. But you know what? The other thing that I noticed too, that everyone was talking about the difference in preparation, wanting to win. when Bryson was waiting for Xander, Bryson was on the range, right?
Yeah.
Rory went into the room to go like basically cool down. Like it was a warm day. He went in there to go cool down.
Well, mentally and
And
physically because of
yeah,
missing those putts. Like, oh,
man, those memes are brutal. But you know
dude, and
what,
how
dude?
quick they turn them around, dude. They were like show up in like 30 minutes, like an hour after the tournament. You're like, dang,
the
dude.
the stat that was crazy was he was 496 for 496
I saw that. Up until
for
the back
putts within
nine.
three. Yeah, up
Like,
until or for putts within 3 feet. Like that's
dude,
crazy.
insane. And I posted a poll on YouTube, and we got 206 votes. And I asked, did Rory McIlroy lose the U.S. Open, or did Bryson DeChambeau win the U.S. Open? And 64% of the voters said Rory lost it, with 36% saying Bryson won it, which, in a way, yes. I think Rory did enough to lose. Definitely. Those two putts were the game changer that literally changed the game. He makes one of those putts, he is at least going into a playoff. He makes both of those putts that are within 3 feet that are makeable. The second one was very slippery. I'm not going to lie. When I saw that, I was like, I don't know, man. This is not a gimme putt. You know, like you're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
He left that putter face wide open when he hit that.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, like you had Bryson DeChambeau who could have lost it on that 18th hole, like the Mito Pereira that we saw, like on the full swing, like 30 times because they always reference the PGA Championship, and just I'm sure he loved that full swing, constantly going back to watching him just blow it on the 18th hole, but like hits it over into the fescue or whatever you want to call it, the waste bunker, and then he hits it into the freaking 60-yard bunker. But he, in my opinion, he won it with that shot. He won it with that bunker shot because that ultimately saved it and guaranteed a win. Didn't, give him the opportunity for a playoff, but they're saying it's like one of the best shots that have ever happened in like a major, which I'm glad I was able to witness it. And I'm stoked for Bryson, because I mean, he's local. So
he's probably going to be out there at Dragonfly hitting some balls
gonna be asking
with
Brandon.
right? with
with
the
Avoda.
No, with the U.S.
trophy?
Open trophy.
Oh, dude, of course, dude. I'm definitely when I play on Wednesday. I'm bummed that Don Julio's not able to make it.
I know, dude, but you know what, bro? You bailed on me twice for two times at a great course. Like not just your average Muni. Like, don't even start.
Yeah, I know. But
I mean, I don't want to put any hope, but I think I just may need to ask my mother-in-law. Wife's kind of like, no, because she needs to work and da-da-da. I'm like, well, I'll pay you. Like, let me know. But I don't know. We'll see.
That would be epic. That would be epic. That'd be our 4th of July video, dude. I'm telling you. It'd be so sick. But yeah, so I mean, like back to Bryson and Rory, I think it goes both ways. Rory lost it, but at the same time, Bryson won it. Bryson did enough to win. He didn't just get a par, an easy par, hits the 18th on the green, or on the fairway, then on the green, and 2 putts for par. It was he made it the most difficult you could do it for 18. Like the way you do not want to do that. But I mean, everyone else. I mean, Pavone. I was watching Pavone all weekend, and I'm not going to lie, I was extremely irritated at him because the PGA Championship, I picked him up on DraftKings. Yes, I only do 10-cent wagers, but it is what it is. And he did terrible because he did great in the Masters, terrible in the PGA Championship. I didn't pick him up for the U.S. Open, and he goes off. And I'm like, dude, what is going on? Tony Finau did pretty well as well. He did really good. But dude, what is up with Justin Thomas? Dude,
and Jordan Spieth.
Dude, they have fallen off of like the cliff, like not even just like going like down an escalator. They just went straight to the bottom. Like, what is going on with them, dude? Is it up here? Like, what do you think?
It's 100% up here because they both are tweaking their swings so much. Every time you hear them talking. Like today, I was watching the Travelers with Adelina, and it was like even Jordan was just like, oh, like everything just they're it seems like everything that they're hitting, they're just disgusted with. Like they just don't know where it's gonna go. They don't have the feel for it.
Yep.
Like I don't know, man, but it's hard to watch. I mean, same with some of Ricky Fowler's play today is just kind of like, what was that? Right? That Indian kid Akashay is, he's competing for the he's competing up there at the top again. Saw some good shots from Wyndham.
Did not enough to be in the Olympic team, though, in my opinion. Snubbing Bryson. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's a. I saw a meme about that where it says like, I thought these boys were going to space or something. Yeah, it was pretty good, but yeah. So let's go ahead and
Scotty Scheffler. What do you have for four rounds of over par for like the first time, and since he was born, basically? I mean, like
he's a dad. He's a dad.
I know he's a dad, but didn't he win them? No, he didn't win the Masters as a dad yet. First tournament was the PGA Championship, and I think, right? Yeah, PGA Championship. But I mean, so what do you think of the course itself? Like how they had the course, how they had the greens. Like I love the U.S. Open in terms of being able to watch golfers struggle. And even Max Homa said it best. I didn't make the cut, but I'm just going to turn it on just like you guys and sit on the couch and just, I think he had like the Will Ferrell. And he goes, freaking idiot. Like, how you like just, I'm going to be just like you guys. Like, oh, you're terrible. How you missed that shot, but he just missed the cut. Like, I love watching professional golfers struggle. Just any professional athlete struggle in what they do really well, because it makes you feel like, okay, I feel that too. I do that all the time. That's me everywhere.
Yeah, no, I love the way that it was set up. I mean, the fact that, again, I think really the bar was set high when everyone saw the clips of like, you saw Tiger Woods like practicing a 6-iron from below the green, a 9-iron, a 54 degree, 58, his 60.
Did you see Sahith's chip? Did you see Sahith's chip? How he had to like low it into the ground dude, that was that was just
no. I was just gonna say, just the fact that you're watching some of the best players having to play clubs that they would never play from that distance, or even from that situation ever. Yeah. And they're having to think about it because it's like, dude, I can only land that ball maybe an inch onto the green, and it's just gonna take off to the back. Like I can't go after it and just get it to bite and sit. Yeah. It was good. I like seeing that. Again, like I still, even though the course was set up extremely hard, I still think that it's a course where maybe the conditions change, right? As far as the difficulty and the stems, but the course is still the same. Everyone's played that course, right?
Yeah, right.
So I think it's just that shot of, can I attack the pin, or do I have to kind of maneuver a shot and hit middle of the green and let it roll out? Is really what kind of separated the field, right? The guy whose miss wasn't that good, but was able to get up and down. Like Will Zalatoris had a shot where he flew to the backside of the green, hits a flop shot out of that cabbage, and the ball just hits maybe 6 feet before the hole, and it just bites. And like the whole crowd was like, "Whoa!" because no one's ball had done that all day.
I think I saw that. I think I saw that shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw I forget what par 3 it was, but there was one with Sanjay M and someone else hit it to the center of the green, and they're like, okay, good shot. Rolls off the back.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. And then Sanjay M comes up, hits it to about 2 feet. And the ball is literally just like one dimple, just slowly like going over. And the next thing you know, ends up just right in a worse spot where that other ball was, like 30 yards down the hill. And you're like, dude, like people say like it's like putting on glass. Like this legitimately seemed like they were putting on glass. And man, like then going back to JT and Justin Thomas, it's just, I feel like he also has a new putter. Like he's had so many putters in the last few months as well. And you can tell when players are tinkering with putters that they are just not in it, because when they stick with one, a little more confidence, but I don't know. I mean, it was just crazy to see. And then did you see who was it? Is it Francisco Molinari, the guy who got the hole in one? Did you see that?
Yeah.
How I had him on DraftKings. Francesco, yeah. He was 2 strokes behind on the cut line, and he gets a hole in one to make the cut line at +5, which was huge for me in a way because he was on my DraftKings with my low picks, making the cut to give me some more points. But I ended up accidentally picking these. So there's just DraftKings where it goes like $50 to the winner, and that's it, and no one else gets anything. And I don't want to ever do those because it's like impossible to be that one person that's going to go off. I was like 6 out of like 400 people, but like you're not going to win anything. It's basically first or last, like Ricky Bobby says. But I was so mad because I didn't win anything. But Bryson was huge. I was stoked for him. And I feel like all the things that he would do, he walked around with the trophy, let all the fans touch the trophy. He was out there after with Croc. What's his name? Johnson, or Wagner Johnson, or Johnson Wagner, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
They got the mustache. You know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name.
Yeah. Oh, the only reason I know somewhat about him is 3 years ago at the Punta Cana, he had a Budweiser hat, and people were like, "Dude, who is this guy? Oh my gosh, these guys epic." But now he's talking for the Golf Channel, but helped him out with that shot, and he would just seem like he was soaking it up like a fan would. Like, "Hey, you guys want to touch this? You guys are in this too. Sign people's stuff whenever." And everyone's like, "Oh wow, Bryson's matured." And I think he has, but I mean, like that just comes with time. He definitely was a little bit more arrogant before, but he also did mention one thing that I thought was interesting. He doesn't really, in order to prepare for golf tournaments, he doesn't play like serious golf that often. He says maybe 3 holes at a time, but you know how he has like his break 50 videos on YouTube and his videos and stuff on YouTube. So that obviously isn't considered like serious golf. It's just like having fun and messing around. But he says that the biggest thing for him is just repetition. So he says, as long as you know what you're going to do mentally, it's what do they call it? Muscle memory. When you get up into those heightened situations, you get into those situations that have a lot of pressure, you basically rely on your muscle memory because you're feeling emotions like the stress, the nerves and all that stuff. And he's like, that's the way that I think about it. And I just don't really, get like maybe like locked in like they do in the Bogey Wogey Boys or maybe like Tiger Woods. But I thought it was pretty interesting because you would think that a multiple major winner would have something more serious into it, but the repetition side of it kind of does make sense.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned his ability, to consistently repeat that swing at that high level that he does.
Mm-hmm.
So I played. So this Sunday, in that Skins game that I was telling you about,
mm-hmm.
I played with a guy who caddied for Lydia Ko back in her early years.
Right.
He's good friends with like I guess the manager of Good, and so he went down to Dallas with the Good crew, and was watching Bryson hit balls. He showed me this video. Bryson was like hitting those range balls with the Top Golf driver. He was hitting like the 4th square at the top, and he said the craziest thing was he didn't hit any warm-ups. He just showed up and just put a glove on, grabbed that club, and literally was like ball speed was 187 out the car.
Jeez.
And then he said he's like, the thing that was crazy was he hit like 200 balls with no break. It was literally like whack, rub the thing, whack another, rub the sensor, whack. Like he was just all gas is what he said. And then he said that then he took out his Cobra driver when he was with Cobra, and he took out like some Bridgestone balls or whatever he was playing. And he's like to see this, like the waitress's face when he was hitting the ball. He said that the waitress was like, do all the balls sound like that when people hit it? And he goes, no, like this guy is a professional. He said that he was hitting the ball so far over the net. It was like, they were worried they were going to get kicked out. Like, he's like, Bryson is just different. But
Dude,
the nice thing was he did give me a compliment. He's like, that ball sounds different coming off your driver. And I was having a good driving day.
Really? Okay.
But I was having a good driving day. But all my birdies got capped, which sucked, and then I couldn't film anything just because I was playing with some serious dudes, like very serious players.
Next thing you'd be like, dude, we're playing for money, and if it makes you nervous, that'll only benefit me. So if you're not ready to play in front of camera, okay, sorry, dude, it's not my fault. We didn't sign up for anything. There's no contract. I can't bring this thing out. Sorry. If you hit the GoPro, man, we'll play it as it lies unless it doesn't benefit you. Okay.
Yeah. But no, man, going into the next subject, talking about the US team, I was shocked to see those guys there without seeing Bryson or
like,
even
what?
Brooks. Yeah.
I mean, I think, what do they say? It's like you get 4 players maximum, depending on the world golf ranking, official world golf rankings. And the funny thing is, like, the professionals, like Matt Fitzpatrick and others, have said it on camera that they don't take those seriously because it's not truly who the golf rankings are. Like, they know, like, oh, Bryson's not like 154th. The fact that Bryson, I think, is like ranked 10th in the official world golf rankings, and he's only played in 3 events, and they were all majors, should tell you something about the world golf rankings. He didn't play in any other tournaments. None.
Yeah.
And also, did Scotty Scheffler just negate it and not want to do it? Because obviously he's number 1. Why would he not want to be there? Right? I don't know if I'm missing something, but
I didn't even know. I thought I saw Scotty in the picture.
Okay. I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong, and I'll probably get called out for that. But yeah, because I don't have to look this up. I'm like, did I really just say that?
I could have swore Scotty's face was like right in the front below.
I mean, I would assume so. Let me see.
I mean, my only thing is that, I mean,
yep, you're right. I'm an idiot.
I was gonna say my only reason for him probably bowing out would just be he wants to be at home and help his wife with the baby.
Right. Yeah, but again,
he's
time,
it
only comes once every 4 years. It only comes once every 4 years. But I mean, okay, so for me, it's like Wyndham Clark and Colin Morikawa. Like, Wyndham Clark, yeah, you won the U.S. Open last year, but that was last year, dude. This isn't the Olympics aren't in June or July of 2023. They're in June, July of 2024, and a lot can happen. We've seen, like we talked about earlier, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, how much of a rise that they had and how quickly they just hit a cliff and just dropped off. Like, it happens. Wyndham's definitely not playing his best game. He had some good shots during the U.S. Open, but
hold on, pause on that. What did you think of that clip of them saying that he was caught cheating by when he hit that ball that came up short of the green and then it rolled back?
What was it? I didn't see it. I didn't see what it was, but what happened?
So
I heard about it.
Okay, so what happened was someone said caught in 4K, Wyndham Clark cheating once again. And what he did was he hit his chip shot. Then when the ball came up short, he then stomped on his on his divot, which that's basically improving a lot.
I did see that. Because he knew that the ball was going to land right in that area, right?
Yep. Or he was going to be somewhere close, so he patted it down. But then there was another clip of where, like, he had a shot that was on the fringe and like the I guess the rough and the fringe, and you're standing there and you're kind of looking at your shot and you're doing stuff, but then he like puts his foot kind of on the side of the ball to kind of improve or to kind of put down the rough so that way his wedge can get underneath it a little smoother, right? And that was another one. Then there was another clip of where he was in a bunker, and you know how like Keegan Bradley kind of does like his pre-shot routine where he's kind of like stepping back and forth. Well, Wyndham kind of like looked at the pin, but then as he set down, it was like he just kind of like dragged his foot, I guess it looked like, to to kind of pat the sand down. I don't know, but it was just like, wow, like 3 times
Really?
in one round. Yeah.
I mean, I saw the first one. I was watching the clip right now while you were talking as well. I saw the
Yeah.
one where he stepped on it, but I didn't see the other ones.
Yeah.
But apparently he did it in the U.S. Open last year too. People were talking about some stuff, so I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't put it past him. Is he the new Is he the new
Patrick
Reed?
Reed.
Patrick Reed? Patty Reed? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. But
that's
speaking of like cheating too, what do you think of that tweet from the caddy who was talking about Bryson's putter?
yeah. So I was actually looking at that because a lot of people retweeted that or reposted it or shared it or whatever. So it got around the the golf sphere. Everyone was able to see it, and someone posted the rules, the actual rule, like what the rule is, with a picture of like what it is and what you can and cannot do. So I guess there's like 11% or whatever the number is of like angle you have to have on your club for your putter, and as long as that when it sits flat is at the number, that's all that matters. If the player himself takes that putter and moves it up higher to get less of a degree, then that's
Mm-hmm.
totally legal because the putter is like that and they're adding that on their own. So according to that, which again I didn't back check that, but if that's true, then in my understanding is that he is playing a legal putter. But again, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. What did you think about it?
I didn't even see any of that. I'm glad you looked into it because I didn't see the post about the rules. I just thought, like, I love how the guy posted about it. He's like, don't mean to be a dick, but
Right,
it's
right.
like just say it what it is. Like, you're clearly doing it because you're wanting to nitpick, and it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
you're doing it against the people's champion. Like, Bryson's probably, our generation of Phil Mickelson, who's super involved with the fans,
Yeah,
loves the ambience of, feeding off the energy of people, being excited about being there and being in his presence. Like,
yeah,
it's just one of those things where it's just kind of like, why you got to do it to the nicest guy on tour? Like, the
dude.
guy
Yeah.
plays by the rules all the time. I mean, if anything, the thing that I'm still having a hard time understanding is his Avoda irons. Like, I watched the whole episode with um who's the punter?
The
Who's the
punter.
punter for the punter for the Indianapolis Colts?
Oh,
Uh
Pat McAfee.
yeah. Yeah, McAfee. I was watching that and where they were talking about his irons and how he was breaking it down and like you could really see the bulge, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Yep,
he was
I've heard of
talking like yeah, and he was talking about it about how like because the bulge is there, like the sides they go, out, so it kind of forces a more pure strike. That's something that I'm curious as to how that passes for the USGA rules because it pretty much promotes like a more
forgiving.
consistent, yeah, more
Mm.
forgiving, more consistent strike, I guess.
I don't know, man.
For
I
him.
mean,
No, yeah, I'm not expecting you to know.
yeah,
I'm just, I guess, as a player and also as a club fitter myself, it's kind of like that's so genius. Like, why don't more people make it like that? Right? I
right.
mean, even
Yeah.
in improvement, even in low, improvement clubs, right? Like that
Hmm.
have the thicker cavities. Why wouldn't you make a bulged face that actually promotes a straighter ball flight because of the fact that the bulge is in the center. So if you have
Yeah.
someone who is not a consistent striker, at least the angle of the face is promoting in that
Hmm.
direction,
They'd be if
right?
they ever end up making them, then they'd be perfect game improvement irons.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, going back to the putting and like the comments made, my whole thing about putting is like, why does it matter? Like you have an anchor putter that they've disallowed and made illegal. Who cares? It makes putting easy. Okay. There was no rule that you have to hold it a certain way. You could chip basically on a green as long as you don't make a divot, but that's really hard. So people don't do that. Like why try to screw over people that get smart and really look at the rules, to make a club that makes it easier for them to putt, which is very difficult. You can have the best putter and you could be the best putter and still not play well. That doesn't always guarantee anything. There are no guarantees in golf, which is another thing that's pretty true. But like no matter what, like with the whole Bryson's arm lock putter, that was a thing. Oh, should they make the arm lock putter illegal because it keeps the arm too steady? Oh, okay, so he found a way to keep his arm steady and make his putting stroke more consistent. Yeah, let's shame him for that and make that illegal because that's not what we're used to seeing. Like, you remember seeing him putt from behind? Do you ever see that? Those videos of him putting from behind? He literally was like, it was like the weirdest thing ever. And I talked to Brandon about it. I'm like, he's like, Bryson's tried everything putting wise. And like, he's like, honestly, if he were to stick with that putting stroke, he would be such an amazing putter. But because of all the flack that it gets, because of how weird it looks, it's like the granny shot in basketball. You know how, I forget who was like the highest free throw percentage champion, like, or whoever had like the highest average free throw percentage in the history of NBA shot it granny style because it was more consistent. Every single time it was more consistent, but no one wanted to do it because they looked like a fool. They felt like, they didn't look good by doing it. And that's the same way with putting. And why knock them for that? I mean, with the irons, honestly, I hope that they end up adding the bulge and down the road. They find a way to make it cheaper because as of right now, it's too expensive to make and sell to the public, at least for normies like you and me to actually afford them.
I just think one, it would be way too confusing for like the amateur golfer already, right? Like, I get it because one, I have a high club head speed. I get it. But two, I just think that one, if he were to, if a Voda irons were ever to get onto a Golf Mart, Dick's Sporting Goods club, club champion, racks, right? It would just be way too much. It would be way too much configuration for a standard fitter, in my opinion, right?
I think in order for them to benefit themselves the most, they have to stay with what they are, a direct to consumer, company. Because otherwise you lose that quality with fitters themselves. It's a different, like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, just interesting stuff. I mean, again, you got to hit it. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, man, if you come out, I'm sure I can get you a few swings with it. No problem at all. Yes, they're still there. And I'm telling you, it's sick. I mean, because it's legitimately Bryson's iron. It's got his LA Golf shaft that he uses. I forget what the X Flex or Tour Stiff Flex is, but like you're gonna hit him, and it sucks. It's like one of those things that like it's like a forbidden fruit. You hit it, and you're like, oh, I wish I can get these, but you can't get those. Like you just know it, and you're like, gosh, why do I even do it? Why even do that to myself? Like now I'm just like, oh, I wish I want to have it, but I can't have it. But I mean, if you look at his bag, he has like the trippiest bag. Like he's got a Voda prototype irons. I forget what wedges he has. He's got a crank golf, driver, three wood, which is strictly for mainly long drive competitors. And then his putter is LA Golf with a 3D model header, 3D, what do you call it?
3D printed head.
Yeah. And majority of times you see like all these bags that are like all Callaway, all TaylorMade, all Titleist, maybe Mizuno. But he's just, in my opinion, playing with whatever stuff works for him the best. And because he's not stuck to Puma or Cobra anymore, I feel like that benefits him even more. Because he can
that's like Brooksy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
except for his putter. Brooksy was putting terrible, man. Started off hot and just went. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say. I mean, when he was playing his best, he didn't have any commitment to anybody. He was just playing. I think he was playing a TaylorMade driver with Nike irons and that Scotty camera that he's had since he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he just had Titleist wedges, nothing super crazy. Just, it was, again, I think that's sometimes the problem is like when you sign that contract, it could be hit or miss sometimes.
I mean, it could be good for that year that you signed. That like, oh man, like these clubs are perfect for me, blah blah blah. But then that next year, and then next year, those next few months, when you know how quickly golf, companies that come out with new stuff, something that's better that could benefit you even more, you're not able to get access to. Well, you technically could, but like you're not really allowed to if you want to keep that contract and keep a good, standing with the company you signed for. But yeah, I mean. Live. Oh, sorry. Go for it. Hey, you're on mute.
Sorry, I keep meaning.
I know you got the cars. I know you got the cars.
But I was gonna say, so aside from Live, but you got this round going on Wednesday. Who else is playing with you?
So as of right now, it's just me and Brandon.
Okay. What are you and Brandon? What type of game are you and Brandon planning on playing? Are you guys gonna do scramble? Are you gonna do from the forward tees again? What's in store?
We are doing way backs round 2. That's why, again, I'd love for you to come out there. We rock in, 4th of July gear. The video is going to drop on the 4th of July. We're going to be hitting bombs. That's kind of what I'm going for. Hitting bombs on the 4th of July. And we're going to see how low we can go on the way back tees. At least that's what I'm planning on doing. Because obviously when I majority of the time when you and me play, I try to get like 2 things. I try to get 2 videos, like a front 9 and a back 9, because we don't play with each other too often. So, getting some extra content would be ideal where I can make 2 videos out of it. But I would just like with how warm it's going to be pretty warm. Even though we're going to be playing in the morning, it's still going to be pretty warm. It'll be a lot different because last time we played, it was probably like low 60s. And now with it being that, and and I'm not saying this to guilt trip you, make you feel bad, but if you were to go, it would definitely make things a little bit easier, hitting the ball 30 to 40 yards closer and having shorter irons in compared to me and Brandon. No knock on Brandon,
I mean, dude, you've been nuking the ball. Like you outdrove me, I think.
Yeah, but
probably 6 times.
No. Well, that's maybe because you use like an iron or a freaking 3-wood going up against me. But I mean, it would be regardless. Like it'd be a good time. It'd definitely be a good time.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do. I'm not going to make any promises, but
I know.
I'll see. I mean,
that's all I can ask, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll see.
I mean, we gotta get what we can before our daughters are here. You know what I mean?
I know. Did you just spill it to the whole
No, I didn't. Yeah, no one knows.
You just said it.
I know. Don't make it. Just move on. But LIV Nashville's coming up this week. They're in Nashville, and Bryson's there. Bryson's playing. I'm sure there might be something in his contract that kind of requires him to play with LIV. But, dude,
of course,
I don't know about you, but every day I'm just checking out Anthony Kim. That guy is just night and day different. Just, hey, I'm 1%, just trying to get 1% better every day. Hey, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. It's awesome to see how he's been doing. Did you ever end up listening to the podcast from Country Club Jason? Dude, it's great to see a little bit of insight. I cannot wait for his documentary. And I'm honestly really hoping that he's able to pull some great shots this weekend because he's actually trying. And he's enjoying it. And he's loving it. That's great to see.
I think, again, like we heard it a little bit over I think just the preparation of the U.S. Open and kind of what players' mentalities were, right? Mm-hmm. Which is like, I'm just going to play like I don't care golf. I don't know if that's the exact words that they use, but something along those lines.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, right? It's around with the boys, right? You got to keep it as simple as possible, have fun because – dude, I mean, even like Max Homa, I'll still never forget that episode where he did the episode with Bob Does Sports and almost shoots a 59. Shoots a 59. Like on, I think it was Weekapaw that they played in Arizona. Like that is a tough track. And he just fired off like it was nothing. So again, it's, I think Anthony Kim could just benefit from that. Like, he's playing with the joy, he's playing with the passion. Just stick to it and let stuff happen, right? Like, let putts fall as they may, and those that maybe are not as good, just get them as close as you can, right?
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on. I think they have the Travelers Championship going on. I think, where is the Travelers? It's still in like Connecticut, or let's see, where is that at? The Travelers Championship in Connecticut, TPC River Highlands. And since we are recording on a Thursday, when we normally do on Wednesdays, it looks like Tom Kim is 8 under.
Leading, yeah.
Will Zalatoris 6 under, Akshay Bhatia -6 with Ricky Fowler, Kitayama. Pretty stacked leaderboard, which honestly is great. Good for the PGA Tour. But man, this is going to be another one of them tournaments that you got to shoot 27 or under in order to win. I don't think it's going to be one of those ones that you can just get away with 16 or 17. Definitely think you're going to have to shoot a high number.
Justin Thomas is actually under. He's 2 under on the day. Victor Hovland is 2.
Keegan, what happened to Victor Hovland, dude? Did you see Victor Hovland U.S. Open? I'm glad I didn't pick him, but I was like, dude, he was playing terrible. Then he had a little nice stretch of a few birdies.
I didn't say anybody. I didn't say anybody. I was kind of like, I have no idea, man. I feel like this tournament's going to be anyone's tournament to kind of win or lose.
No, the U.S. Open.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I even gave an answer. I was even shocked to see that Rory actually put it together. I mean, everyone was like, it's been 10 years. It's like, dude, the guy can't play at Augusta. He blows it every time. He blows it every time for the players.
Yep.
It's like,
well, to me, it's like the whole Tiger Woods thing where it's like, oh my gosh, Tiger Woods seeing the Piners. He's getting ready. Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna get another major? Do I pull for him? Yeah, of course. I think it'd be a great story. But legitimately, there's no way that he's going to win it, no matter where he's playing, because of the injury he has. Has nothing to do with his gameplay. It's the body that can't hold up. Hold on, really quick. Let me finish really quick. But to that, I'm just comparing it to Rory McIlroy. Oh, it's been 5 years since Rory hasn't won a major. Oh, it's been 7 years since he won a major. He's due. Oh, it's the 10th year that he hasn't won a major. I literally tweeted, I don't know if you saw it, my post on with like the guy from Happy Gilmore. Shooter's gonna choke. The gold jacket show I put on there. I'm like, DeChambeau, the U.S. Open's yours. Rory's gonna choke. Not having any idea that he was actually gonna choke, but he chokes, and he had everything in the driver's seat, and he just choked. But sorry, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, look, man, I don't think, and this is just respect. Putting the respect on the guy's name. I don't think you can ever write off Tiger because he'll just surprise you, right? I mean, he's not playing.
He did get the exemption. Golf. We got to talk about that. The exemption.
Okay, so I was going to lead into that, but I was going to say he's not playing bad golf. It's small. It's small mistakes that are just he's having a hard time. Kind of bouncing back from, in my opinion, but. To what you were just speaking about, I think that's complete BS because
it's such a money grab. It is such a money grab.
Yeah, it's such a money grab. That's literally what it was because everyone got super excited about seeing Tiger at Pinehurst. Being that the course is similar to what he practices and already plays, a lot of people's expectations were super high.
Right.
And I mean, dude, like it was hard. I mean, it could be similar to what he practices on, but man, in a tournament setting, that's just a very tough setup. I mean, 16 step greens, like that's not fun for anybody. But again, kind of going back to that or what you just said, it's a total money grab. It's a total play to kind of get more people to show up for events because I think we talked about it or we spoke about it offline. Like the attendance for the PGA has been getting lower and lower and lower ever since this whole thing with LIV.
Yeah. I mean the downside is you're giving it to Tiger Woods in his current condition, and he's even talked about how he's going to be playing over the next years or so, is he's going to be practicing basically for the majors. He might play another tournament like the RIV or a local one or something like that to add to it to keep the competitive juices flowing. But he's not gonna. I don't think that's gonna make him want to play more tournaments. He has more money than anyone needs. Like, that's not an issue. He's got generational wealth. He's set for life. His kids are set for life. His grandkids are probably gonna be set for life and down the road. But it's not like maybe like a Phil Mickelson or a John Daly might have benefited from, because he needs money. He keeps on gambling his money away. And because of that, he needs as much money as possible. So I don't think
Hooters got him.
Hooters. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's just for wings. He still needs a place to live. You can't keep staying here, John. You got to go home.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, he's not. I don't think it's going to be like, yeah, well, I'm going to play more tournaments now because of that. It's like, no, like he could have gotten exemption regardless. He's Tiger Woods. If he would have asked, they'd have been like, oh, sorry, kid. Sorry, this might have been your chance to play in the PGA Tour, but we got to give it to Tiger Woods because he guarantees us money at the John Deere Classic, which is like everyone's go-to of like the worst golf tournaments. Just so random. But yeah, I mean, anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up this pod?
No, man. I think like we said, there's a lot of stuff going on with golf. I mean, we didn't even get into John Daly Jr.'s debut for the Corn Ferry. Apparently he played pretty well, but we can save that for next week. But yeah, other than that, hope all of you guys had a great Father's Day.
Yep.
Definitely hope you guys all got to get out there and go low and stay fly.
Yes.
So, yeah. Other than that, have yourselves a good one, and we'll see you next week.